Alrighty, I am here with Mr. Einstein, and this is the first time I have him in a car. I'm going to be just driving around the neighborhood here, putting around, because I want Einstein to learn to lay down, mind his business, and be good. He's a very stressed out, nervous, insecure dog. He always wants to run and get away from everything. But I want him to lay down, relax, mind your business. And a lot of people say, oh, the dog needs to look around, needs to see things. Well, they still can, but really nothing out there is any of their business anyway, so what's it really matter? I want the dog to lay down, and in Einstein's situation, for him, laying down and being held accountable to being a down will be beneficial to him, because he knows what to do then, instead of being stressed and like, oh, what's this, what's that, oh, what's over here, and his mind and his brain is frantically going from one way to the other, back and sideways and up and down. So if the dog doesn't know what to do, you can't really have him do anything except stay in that state of mind and that unfortunate behavior, or whatever you want to call it. So having the dog learn things and holding them accountable for them, he's just going to relax. He's going to sit there. He's going to be nervous. He's going to be stressed out. But it will be much better than walking around like, oh, what's this? What's that? Oh my gosh, am I scared of that? Oh, is this going to get me? He can just sit there or lay there, I'm hoping, and be, and learn that nothing really is going to happen, and he's perfectly fine. So before I get moving here, I want the dog to lay down, and hopefully this will go fairly well. I'm figuring with Einstein, though, this is going to be not so good. Maybe, maybe not. You just never know, really, until you try something. You know, we have dogs in all the time, and people ask, oh, what are you going to do? Well, we're going to try this. If it don't work, we're going to figure out how to get it to work. So right here, I'm just going to start giving Einstein some stimulation, and he's on a 5 right now, and that is 5 out of 100. So it's really low. You know, like most humans aren't even going to feel that. So I'm going to give him stimulation, and it's going to be continuous hold, and I may have to dial up. But I want him to figure out that he needs to lay down without me telling him, and like most people would do, get all animated and be yelling down, 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 and all this nonsense at the dog. I want the dogs to think for themselves and not have everything spoon-fed to them. So I'm going to start giving him stimulation. There we go. Right now he knows, oh, what's this? So he's going to figure out, what do I do now? And he knows that when he feels this, he's supposed to do certain things. So he sat, and he's like, okay, well, that didn't do it. It usually does, but right now it's not. So if I don't get any action out of here, I'm going to start dialing up a little bit, and we're going to see what happens. So I'm going to go up to 6, give him stimulation. And he may want to try to get away. He may, go up to the windows. He's going to jump around. He's going to be flipping out maybe. But good. I'm just going to keep it going until he lays down. And like he laid down there on top of the little ramp. And as soon as he did, the stimulation went away. So he's learning, oh, this is what I got to do to get rid of this feeling that I don't really care for. So he did 1,000 times better than I thought. But now that we're going to move, it usually changes for the dog. So then they're going to want to get up. They're going to want to move around. We'll see how Einstein is. Usually when I put him in place and we have him down, he's usually really good about it. Even though we do have him back tied, but he doesn't really leave the cot that much, I should say. You know, he will, because he's still learning, but he does really, really well considering he's a very nervous, insecure dog. And it's been fed into for quite some time. So he's up, obviously. I'm going to go back on to stimulation. And this is because we're moving now. There's movement, things are changing. You know, he's like, oh my gosh, what's happening? So I'll just keep moving up a little bit onto the dial, giving him continuous stimulation until he lays down. And once he lays down, the stimulation will go away. And again, that's what helps the dog figure out, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do, right? So I'm going to go up a little bit more. We'll give him some little more stimulation. We'll hold the button. We're going to see what he's going to do here. He's trying to figure out, trying to think, wow, I'm moving, something's going on here. I'm just not sure. Look like he almost downed right there. So now I'm going to go up a little bit more. See what he's going to do here, if he lays down or not. And I'm just going to keep this going until he figures it out. And like I tell everyone, in the beginning, things aren't like you want. They aren't real pretty. And they're kind of ugly a lot of times. But if you hang in there, you know, you just get through the ugliness, the nonsense. On the other side of that is the benefit. Because then once the dog starts learning, then it will be more and more and better. Like once he gets this, he'll just start getting in and laying down because he knows that's what he's got to do. So we're just going to keep dialing up, and he'll figure it out that, oh my gosh, this really isn't too good. I need to lay down and do what I need to do. So we'll see if we're going to get him here or not. There he goes. So it's getting up there on levels. He's getting pretty high. So now he's like, oh my gosh, what do I do? What do I do? And he'll figure it out here. He's going to lay down sooner or later, and then the stimulation will go away, and then he'll start getting the idea more and more. So there he is. I don't know, he's right up front here, but he did lay down, and so the stimulation went away. And in the beginning, when I was sitting in the driveway, I was on a 5, and he laid down. Now, this time, I am at 15. So we went up 10 levels to get him to lay down. And we'll just drive around here. We'll see if he gets the idea. If he gets back up, I'm just going to give him stimulation again. That's all I'm going to do. I'm not going to be yelling at him to lay down, to do all this nonsense like everyone does. And when people do that, they're actually adding to the problem. They're creating frustration for themselves, obviously, and they're creating frustration for the dog because their body language, their movement, their animation is freaking the dog out. And so the dog's going to react a little bit different than if you just stay calm, relaxed, and have the dog do what you want without all the carrying on and all the nonsense. Looks like he's laying down here. Hard for me to see him here, but I do believe he's laying down. Just a little bit. There we go. I can see him a little bit better. So we'll just drive around here for a little bit, and hopefully he'll hang in there. He'll get the idea. So he was at 15, and he's been down for a little bit. So I'm going to back off just a couple, 2 or 3 levels. And so if he does get back up, I'm going to go right back on. I don't want to be real high where it blows him out of the water, but I want to be at a level that is going to convince him that this is what you need to do without overdoing it for the dog. Just giving him the information he needs. Now later on, once he knows that, oh, this is what I'm supposed to do, and he's, you know, proficient at it, he gets in, he gets up, yeah, he will get a high-level correction for that, because now he knows, and he's not doing what he's told, so there is a pretty good consequence for that, you know. And the other night, this is pretty crazy about punishments and consequences and things. I filled in for another trainer down at where we teach for an obedience club on Monday nights, and one of the trainers couldn't make it, so I filled in for her class at, you know, the late evening class. And everyone in there, their dogs, yeah, they did some okay things, they did pretty good, but everything was just crazy, wild, treat after treat. We had one lady, she ended up having to go and refill her treat bag 2 or 3 times because they cannot do anything with their dog or have their dog do anything without constantly rewarding their dog, because that's what they did. And I asked these people, I said, well, have you ever tried just holding your dog accountable or punishing, correcting your dog for the unwanted behaviors? And this one lady immediately yelled at me that I'm not gonna hang my dog. And it's like, for one, no one ever said anything about hanging your dog, and if you did, I'm probably gonna come over there and kick you right in your face, because that's unacceptable, right? But anytime you mention correction, holding the dog accountable, anything like that, people jump to the far extreme. And it's because they don't know. They've listened to blah, blah, blah here and there, but they've never tried it. They've never experienced it themselves, correcting or holding your dog accountable in the correct way, not with all the nonsense that everyone seems to do quite often. So learn that. Correct your dog, but do it fair and matter of fact, and move on without all the craziness. You know, we get so many people, I ask them about, you know, have you ever corrected your dog? Oh, yeah. Well, what have you done? Oh, I've yelled no at my dog very sternly. I've thrown it in the crate. I've done this. But you've never delivered a consequence to your dog to make your word no valuable, for one, and for two, to get the dog to stop whatever it is you don't want the dog doing. So here he's getting back up a little bit. So I'm going right back onto the e-collar. And you could see how he jumped around there because it is still kind of high. I'm at 12. I did come down from 15. So I saw how he reacted there. So I'm just going to go down a couple more. And then next time he gets up, we'll see. It may not be enough. I might have to dial back up. But I don't want to continuously be blasting him out of the water like that. I want to be able to speak to him through the e-collar in a nice way that he says, oh, okay, I got to lay down and I got to stay there. Yes, that would be appreciative. So if you would do that, then the stimulation goes away. And the dogs learn that. And after a while, that's another thing. People, oh, how long I got to use the tools? I got to correct and punish my dog forever? No, they're training devices. You train your dog. Once you're really super comfortable with your dog's doing well the decision is yours. But I will say there are a lot of dogs that we have in for training. I tell the people, you're going to use these tools until your dog dies because of the attitude and everything with the dogs. We get some dogs in that I know that people aren't going to do what they need to do. I know it. Because we deal with a lot of rescue dogs and these people coming in adopting dogs. I know they're not going to use the tools properly. Some will, but most won't. So, you know, we have to be prepared for that in a different kind of way. And if people are okay with how their dog is, people are okay with your dog. I don't care. But if you're going to come to me or you're going to be in my class or whatever, I'm going to teach you and I'm going to tell you what I want you to know and what I want you to learn. You know, and you know, I haven't gotten this way or learn this stuff just by reading some books or hanging around or listening to people talk or listening to gossip and hate and blabber on the internet between dog trainers or dog owners. I got this experience because I took the time to figure it out. I've worked with lots and lots of dogs. I know a lot of people, it's your only dog. You know, you maybe have had 2 or 3 dogs in your life. But experience the same thing with that dog and you'll figure it out. I have experience with a lot of different dogs because I deal with a lot of different dogs. Types, sizes, personalities, everything. You only have your dog or your dogs. Figure them out. Try things you're not willing to do, but try and see. What do you got to lose? If your dog's being a real butthead, causing you all kinds of headaches, isn't being good anyway, what do you got to lose? So, oh, I don't want my dog to not like me. I don't want my dog to, you know, not bond with me. I want a good relationship with my dog. Well, I'm going to tell you, most people I see with their dogs, their relationship with that dog sucks. The dog's running around living like, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to be crazy and do whatever I want, when I want, how I want. And the human will just yell and scream as normal and carry on, make fools of themselves, and nothing will ever happen. More than likely, being the dog will get rewarded for the nonsense. So, you know, because people will try to calm them down with treats. They'll try to calm them down with affection. And you're actually adding to your problem. So take the time and train your dogs, teach your dogs. It's well worth it. And again, it's not forever. We had someone in last night that they have acquired a dog through the death of a family member. And the dog's got some issues. You know, the person that had it before, the one that passed away, unfortunately, never really did anything with the dog. And the dog is pretty timid, pretty shy, but comes around fairly quick. And the dog ended up doing really, really well last night. I was really impressed by this dog. And there's a lot of great potential in this dog. But because of all the nonsense out there and playing these games, you know, where I close my hand, the dog gotta sit. I move my hand to the side. The dog, you know, you got to teach them first, and then that stuff comes in. A lot of people try to do that all at once, and it creates a lot of confusion. The dog's like, well, what are you doing? You know, tell me A, and then I'll learn B later, and then I'll learn C, and then I'll learn D. But everybody wants their dog to, hey, you're a dog, you came into my world, I expect you to know the whole alphabet. Start reading and writing right now. But it's not possible. It's totally impossible. So you have to take the steps to teach your dog. And like Mr. Einstein here, very fearful also, if I didn't hold this guy accountable, let him know what is and isn't acceptable. Oh my God, someone's little dog running around, almost ran out in front of me. Isn't acceptable, then you're going to struggle. That's just how it's going to be. A little dog kind of lose my train of thought. Little poodle Bichon thing running around. I thought I was going to run out into the street, but it went down the sidewalk. So hopefully it'll be all right. So, but if I didn't take the time to teach Einstein what he should be doing and hold him accountable for those things, I can guarantee you right now that Einstein is not going to be laying down in the back of my car. It isn't going to happen. Because mostly all he has is, oh, it's a fearful, nervous guy. And this goes on with all kinds of dogs that are nervous and insecure. That people coddle into that. Poor baby, poor dog, oh, everything's okay. If you think that's good for that dog to be in that state of mind, all that I can say is shame on you. Help the dog become a much better dog and get out of its shell. Like Einstein right here, he's had a few years of living in this state of mind. Will he ever be 100% good? No. No. And a lot of people say, well, you can't get the fear out of the dogs. Well, yeah, obviously, can't get the fear out of you either. People forget that fear is what keeps us safe and alive. We have to have some. If the dog isn't scared or fearful of anything, you're going to see dead dogs all over the place. Because, oh, here comes a car. Oh, I'm not worried about it. Thump, thump. And it's over. So they got to be fear. You got to be cautious, right? But when people, humans, feed into that and put gasoline, I call it a fire, and they keep putting gasoline on the fire, yeah, it's going to flare up and it's going to get worse and worse. And then the dog's going to believe that the human wants them or enjoys them in this state of mind, because people start talking baby talk, real high, soft voices. Their body language gets real soft. That's what the dog's paying attention to, not your words. They have no idea what your words mean. You could be telling the dog okay by going up to it, oh, you're an idiot, you're the most rottenest dog I've ever seen. But if you're in that soft, gentle voice, even though you're saying not such good things to the dog, then that the dog is going to go, oh, okay, even though the words weren't, you know, like in our human thoughts, beneficial to the dog. So he's back up, so I'm going back onto the stimulation and down. Right? There he goes. And we'll just ride around here a little bit more with him and see how he is. And again, I'm just putting through neighborhoods here by my house. I'm not going out on busy roads yet. I will eventually with him, but I have to teach him first. And if I try this, you know, right at Bell Road, Union Hills, I try this on Bell Road, going down Bell Road, and I'm paying attention to the camera, looking in the mirror at him, trying to pay attention to the controller, everything else. It's not, I'm probably going to get into a wreck or something. Something bad's going to happen. So again, take the time first. Everybody goes to the mountain and they just think they need to be at the top of it right away. I want to see this great view. I want this great situation. But you have to climb it. You have to go little by little, help your dog understand, and then you'll get to where you want to be with your dog. But you have to take the time and do the work to help your dog get there, and also to help yourself learn and have a better understanding of your dog. A lot of people just think the dog has to do what they want, and they never really take the time to learn or understand their dog. And if they don't, that will also be a struggle for them. You know, when we get a dog, everybody just thinks, oh, this is going to be great. I'm going to go hiking. I'm going to do this. The dog's going to do this. Well, and well, if you teach it and you train it, yeah, sure, there are some dogs, yeah, they just fall in line and they're fine. But few and far between from what I've ever seen. So we're about back where we want to go back to, back at the house. And so this will be the end of Einstein's first experience in the car with me. And overall, I gotta say that he did 1,000 times better than what I was expecting. I was honestly expecting to not be able to even get out of the driveway because he wasn't gonna lay down and he wasn't gonna do what I needed him to do. But he did. And a lot of that is because I taught him first. I didn't just like day one come on out and throw him in the car and say, yeah, this is what we're going to do, and you got to figure it out. We had to take the steps to teach him things first and then go from there.